Hi, my fellow skateboarders, longboarders, and freelance skaters. This is Srinivasan, a fine art photographer, a distance skater. I'm here to make a video today about making some bamboo juice with a blender. I've got half bottle. We're going to fill this up. Nah, just kidding you. We already saw the video about the unboxing and the specs and details of this longboard with bigger 100mm wheels. What we are going to do today is some DIY land paddle. As I said before, this is the Bostaff. Don't worry I did not show an unboxing of this Bostaff because it literally arrived like this on Amazon. It had some stickering here which had the addresses and details. So this is a Bostaff. It's made out of bamboo and we're going to build some DIY custom land paddle with this Bostaff. And before we start anything or building something with this Bostaff, the land paddle, let's take a small briefing on what is land paddling. Okay? Peace. Hello guys, let's get into the briefing without wasting any time. So the briefing includes a small introduction about land paddling, as I said before. So when you get into the website called Decathlon India, you will find a column somewhere down here. It's called kayaking and stand-up paddle. So stand-up paddle is something that you do in the water, okay, in the backwaters or in the rivers or somewhere where the water is a little bit quieter, or even you could do it in the seas when the waves are not too high, okay. So it's an abbreviation of SUP, stand-up paddle, okay. So when you do that thing in the land, like when you mimic such things which you do in the water, but you do it in the land, it's called street stand-up paddle, SSUP, street stand-up paddle, or in otherwise, in short, I would like to call it as land paddling, okay. So the same website of Decathlon, you will find the stand-up paddle thing. Forgive me, I forgot to switch off my Wi-Fi. Yeah, safety first. So stand-up paddling, you will find the column here, and when you hit that, you will find all the necessary stuff that you will need to do the stand-up paddle. So as I said before, we are going to build some DIY or a custom paddle for us, which we are going to use it in the land. So land paddling, for land paddling. So the small little bit of history is that, like, be it carving or be it any sort of longboards or anything that mimics the action of surfing or such sport, it's always from the surfing community or from the oceans, which people were doing it in the oceans and they want to do it in the land as well. So they kind of invented them to do it in the land. It's kind of inspired from all surfing, carving and stand-up paddles and everything. So this land paddling or street stand-up paddle is also an inspiration from such things which you do it in the waters, you're trying to do it in the land as well. So that's a little bit of briefing over here. So whatever you do with surfing and other this thing, we are trying to mimic it in the land, okay. So stand-up paddle is one such sport. It's serious sport. You have events, you have competitions and everything. This is a board. It's pretty long board actually. It accommodates you stand by standing or by sitting, and you start rowing. I mean, like here you call it as paddling, okay. So your paddle looks like this. It's adjustable. So it has fins in the end. And this paddle is for the waters, and it has a small handle like this for you to hold in your hand, okay. And the adjustable height has a lock. It's a friction lock, It's not interlocking system, so it's a friction lock that goes well for the paddles that are used in the water. Okay, and you have different heights for different people. Okay, so this is how the paddle in the waters looks like, and everything was an inspiration from surfing community. Okay, so this is how they paddle when they are sitting on their knees, I mean like ankles, and they also paddle this way, sitting on the board like this. So it's basically more relaxing sport, designed to have some quiet and fun moments, when you are camping out in the waters. And the main difference between the boards that you're going to paddle in the land and which you're going to paddle in the waters is like you're going to stand straight to the board. Okay, so you look at the feet over here. People's feet face in the direction as the board. Your foot is straight to the direction your board faces. Okay, so unlike the land boards that you will find, like the long boards or like the drop down, drop through, the varieties of long boards or any such sort, like the paddle boards are mostly a long board and with a space for you to stand or either sit, and a few boards have some space for luggages, your water and everything. And you paddle this way. You stand on your board like this, facing in the direction of your board, and you start paddling. So and most of your steering comes from the paddle itself. You steer your board forward with your paddles, you turn your board with your paddles, you stop your board with the paddles. Okay, and you get off your board by jumping off your board. Okay, and most of the stand-up paddle boards are directional, in my observation. You can steer it on other side also by backwards also. There are unidirectional boards as well. Okay, and how that mimics into the community or the sports that is in the land, just by the boards that you have. I'm going to show you an example with the company called Ham Boards here. They have some paddles. Okay, and these paddles are different from the paddles that you will see in the waters. Only thing is like the handle and the adjustable height is similar, and the bottom of your paddle will have some bushing like this. I mean like each company calls it differently. Okay, so some cushion is there in the bottom of your paddle because you're going to use it in the land, because the surface that is going to come in contact to push your board forward is going to be a land or a gravel surface. So that needs to be properly cushioned or have to have a different shape in the land, right? So that's the bushing that you will find for your paddle. It has different types of foot. Okay, and people call it as tip also, and people call them as pusher tip. Okay, so this is from a company called Ham Boards. Okay, most of the paddles that you will find for land paddling or the street stand-up paddle, like they have interlocking system, but few do have some friction locking system that you will find here. So you find these reeds here, like these intricate concentric circles over here that kind of provide some friction for you to lock your system in. When you close the latch, you'll adjust the height and have it locked permanently. Okay, so these things go in the bottom of your paddle, and your paddle will look like this. Okay, that's your handle part and this is your bottom part. So this will go in the land. You row it like this, I mean like you paddle it like this. Okay, hope you guys remember a few things from my surf skates episode as well. Okay, so your boards could be as longer like this, and your boards could be as thin like this, and even longer than this. Like anything above 40 inches or more welcome for land paddling setup. Like your boards might have a smaller wheel, your boards might have a bigger wheel. Okay, so we are looking at the various shapes that ham boards is offering for you. These are generally surf skates on land. You can use different types of trucks and appropriate wheels for it, but uh, generally the land paddling boards that you will find are more like a longboard stand. People stand with their feet facing sideways, unlike the uh, stand-up paddling where people's feet face the direction of the board. Okay, so most of the longboards that you will find, or wherein you will have the stands on the sideways of your board and facing you turn your head to face the direction you are moving forward or backwards. Okay, and your hands positions are like this. You hold your hand, one of your hand on the top of the paddle, and you hold the other hand in the center or about 3/4 of the height of the paddle. Okay, so wait, let me clear this. So you hold your second hand somewhere 3/4 to the height of the paddle. So what you do is, like, you find a spot on the ground which is clear to put your tip of your paddle on to get a grip on. You spot that. You use your hand as a small hinge. You pivot that point, push it forward. I mean, like in a forward angle, in the forward angle, which kind of takes you in the direction that you want to go. And with paddle boards in the water, which is like stand-up paddles, you turn left or you turn right by putting a paddle in the water and stopping the board for a second. You step backwards, go backwards by one step, and you put your paddles in the water and you stop the board for a second, which will let you turn the board onto right or left. Okay, if you want to turn left, you put your board you put your paddle onto the left, and like if you want to turn right, you put your paddle onto your left, and you want to turn right, you put your paddle onto your left. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm got confused a little bit with that. So when you put your paddle here on the left direction of your body, the board will naturally turn to your right. And when you put your paddle onto the right side of your board and stop the board, your board have a natural ability to turn left. Okay, so that's how you turn your board there. Since these are long boards basically, which has bushings and trucks and everything, you turn your board by your trucks. So you lean left or right to change your direction of your board. Okay, and one of the advantages of stand-up paddling here is, like, you can have your board, it's called a steering throw, or where you put your paddle in a wider angle, you to steer your board in a different direction to turn left or right. But that is not going to be much possible with when you're doing in the land paddling. So you might have to have or hold your paddles as close to your body, which we will see in a short while. I'll give you a demo. So you got to keep it as close to your body, as close to your board to steer it and move your board in the forward direction. Okay, you got to keep some sort of constant momentum, otherwise you're going to have to step down off your board when you're riding it. Okay, so that's a small comparisons of what you do in the waters and what you do in the land. So ham boards also offers some boards which are wider like this. So wider boards, when they have trucks here with wheels, on the front and back, because of their wide uh, length of the board, it allows you to stand straight and use your paddle to steer the board in the forward direction. Okay, unlike the other boards which are longer, wherein your stance goes like sideways, wider boards will let you stand as in the stand-up paddle, which will be able to mimic the exact motion as in the stand-up paddle. You can stand straight and steer your board forward. Okay, so this is a small briefing about like how it kind of translates from waters to the land. So most of the longboards that you have can be used along with your land paddles, or the paddles basically that is used in the land when you're on the land. Okay, so your carvers, your surf skates, your doesn't matter, anything that is on the wheels can be used with the paddle and you can have fun. This stand-up paddling is something you could do it for fun on your weekends, or go on your beachside roads, or like when you want to go pick up some coffee in the morning, early coffee in the morning on your weekends. So you could do all that in that space of having fun and doing a relaxed activity, more than taking it up for some serious long distance pumping or pushing. And by the way, they do use the land paddles for such activities as well, which I'll show it you in a short while. So as you might have observed, my a type of longboard that I'm going to use, or I'm building it for the land paddle, was kind of inspired from this board called donk boards. The idea of donk board is like having a drop down deck with bigger wheels. Okay, and it has some thicker PU around the wheels. The wheels cost you more, like $240, but the entire setup would cost you like just $400. So this is the land paddle stick that you will find that comes along with the donk board. Okay, so this is the bottom portion of the this thing, and that is the top portion for you to hold. So my idea was to use the bigger wheels, because like these bigger wheels are like capable of running over any crack that you will find on the road. You know how Indian roads are like. It's more like kacha and paka. So it's a mix of both. So it'll run over all the pebbles that you will find. It'll come over all the cracks that it is there when you have the right momentum. Okay. So I'm kind of inspired from this board, and that's why I chose this Iris board, wherein I could use it for land paddling. And donk boards wheels are very big and thick. These are actually aluminum. What you will find in my board is like a plastic build. Okay, and this donk board is an aluminum deck as well. Mine is like maple deck. Okay, so it was kind of inspired from this. I like the idea of bigger wheels because I could run faster. I mean, like I could ride faster. It'll run over all the cracks and pebbles. Okay, and there was one more board called Honda board. This is not in market in recent times. It's out of production now, but you might find second-hand boards on eBay or other sites possibly. What they have built is like it's the similar idea like donk boards, but what they have is a scooter wheel, something like a bigger scooter wheel, like 200 mm or 150 mm or 100 and basically somewhere above 100 mm wheels. Okay, so when you have bigger wheels, your ability to make a U-turn, your turn radius is naturally coming down, but your forward direction and taking a left or right doesn't affect much, but your turn radius is fairly large. So these scooter wheels also does the same thing, but because of a less contact patch, unlike the donk board, so it'll run much faster than you expect. So you might as well recollect this some one from my surf skates video. It's called Brapstick. I'm going to show you some different possible paddles that is available for you, and I would suggest you to Google for land paddles that you would like, but Brapstick is one of them, and it's my favorite too, because of the design that you will find. So this is more like a leaf spring design, like there is one leaf spring here, and you have the cushioning which goes or the contact on the roads, and the rebound energy that you will get from the Brapstick is much more higher than any stand-up paddles that you will find for the land, because like these are pretty much straight and it doesn't flex much. The Brapstick, since it has a leaf spring kind of design, the rebound energy that comes out of the paddle will give you a much more boost to move in the direction that you want to go, in the slightly faster manner than any other paddles that you will find. Okay, so if you ask me, like the DIY or the custom design that I'm trying to build right now is inspired from Brapstick, no. As you all saw, like it is a bamboo stick. So bamboo in general will have some sort of flex to it, but the rebound energy is not as much as you will find in the uh, Brapstick or something, because this is a metal and that is wood. I mean, like that's bamboo. So these people from Brapstick company, they have a YouTube channel as well. So they build their own longboards. Basically, this is a drop-through longboard, and wherein they have put all the 200 scooter wheels and built a board. And this is actually upside down. Okay. So the drop through your top, like top side of your truck is on the bottom here, which will be the other case, the actual drop through board. So it's just to avoid a taller clearance. Like taller longboard, So it's actually upside down, and you use your land paddles with this boards, So they have it for you. So this is something similar or inspired design from a Honda board or something like that. I'm not sure if he was inspired from that, but yeah, you have an option like this. Basically, the good advantage of using a scooter wheel or as a bigger wheel is like it has lesser contact patch, so it kind of helps you to move fast in the forward direction. So the next company that you will find selling you the paddles are like more like standard design, which you would find in the hamboard thing. It's straight. Okay, it's going to be pretty straight land paddles, and with an adjustable height. So this little pin you see here is the interlocking system that you will find. So this will have some holes everywhere. So when you pull the stick along to adjust the height, this pin will pop out and lock inside, so that the height is more stable, and your stick doesn't collapse when you're trying to paddle. So this is an interlocking system. This is much more good and stable and more consistent in performance than the friction based land paddle locking systems that you will find in other systems. Like friction based might slip inside when you apply a lot of pressure onto top of your paddle, but this interlocking system would be much more stable solution. Like look at the shoes that they provide. This company is called Kahuna. Though they may not give you much rebound energy as in the Brapstick, these Brapstick land paddles, but they are also a dedicated company for land paddles. Okay, so they also sell boards along with it, and they do have a bamboo version of it. So I kind of inspired from the Kahuna sticks, that's what I should say. And if you find it funny to ride a longboard with a stick like this on roads, don't be, because I strongly suggest you to watch this YouTube film, which is in the Push the Film YouTube channel. Okay, this is a dedicated authorized channel from Skate IDSA. Like they conduct ultra skate events, wherein like that happens in the NASCAR rally, the track, which varies in distance. I mean, like one lap would be around 1.6 miles, I guess. People do that land paddling stuff for about what do you say, like 24 hours. People ride their boards for 300 miles or more. So that's a small video where you'll find where you'll actually find people riding their boards with land paddles. Okay, this guy is using a brap stick, I believe. So this is some serious stuff actually. You can consider this for a serious ride as well, apart from having fun while riding your boards on your weekends or going out to get a coffee or something. So this is serious stuff, and you can have fun riding it as well. So let me get back and start building my land paddle. So as you saw, I have a bamboo stick, and I'm going to build it for board, which is something similar to a donk board. And the idea here is like I already have a bamboo stick. So what I'm going to do is like bamboo already have a rebound. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to build a handle and a bottom push tip or push cushion or whatever. Like I'm going to build those things in my DIY setup. So hope you enjoyed this small briefing about how the stand-up paddling stuff from waters got translated to the land as street stand-up paddling, and what I would like to call it as land paddling. And you have a few companies that do sell your paddling sticks for you with various pusher tips, and you have some dedicated companies selling boards for that land paddling thing, and how you can build your own custom setup with scooter wheels and everything. And you have various companies selling your different types of paddles for you. So this is the idea, and a small briefing about the whole thing here, how it translates from water to the land. Now let's go build our own land paddles and take a test ride with that. Okay, peace.